those reviews on your website,
Yes.
which just basically means that on your website, people can see the reviews that have been left elsewhere. Now, there's no reason why, if you have, you've got reviews on different places and you want to show everyone on your website, absolutely no reason why you can't do that, because at least it then gives you more content on your website. And the benefit of that is that's fresh as well, because it's auto-populating. So it means you don't have to do anything. Once this code is put in there, these third-party, as soon as a new review goes up on these other sites, it automatically shows on your site. So then what's great is you don't have to do any more work.
I'm just realizing I have a third party that sends me a message when I get a review of this podcast.
Yep.
You're all invited to go and leave me a review. But I'm wondering, can I get that embedded on my website? I must actually investigate that, because
absolutely. Because if you can do that, again, it just adds, you've got a little bit of evidence on this page. So if you've got a podcast page at the moment and you've got no sort of external sort of reviews or recommendations, or it's hard to show, why not make it easy and see if there's an API or a little bit of a code snippet and see if you can embed that in. And hopefully a lot of them will have instructions on how to do it. If you don't know how to, that's where people come to me and I help with that sort of thing.
Yes, excellent. I'm trying to think as well. So the other thing is there's a company called Capterra.
Yes.
That I'm signed up to, and they asked me to review things. So these like software programs. So review something like, oh gosh, can't remember now, like ConvertKit, which is what I use for email. And you get like a $5 Amazon voucher or something for it. Can't remember. But if we kind of remove ourselves out of techie speak, it's like whenever, if anyone reads Good Housekeeping magazine, I'm sure Ben doesn't, but they always have a section where they say, here are the top 10 hand creams for 2020 or something. So, I mean, people definitely make their buying decisions a lot off the back of somebody else's review, don't they? I think.
Absolutely, and all that feeds into, again, that's that bit of earned marketing that I talk about. And again, so you've got this thing saying, I've got this incredible product. It could be a SaaS product, it could be a physical product, whatever it is. You could be an e-commerce store that sells handbags, or you could be someone that sells a service, and that doesn't really matter. That's by the by. It's how do we prove that is what we say? So where I help people is making sure that they get their reviews onto these platforms, and then help them with some of the code to make sure then that if you've got reviews on these products on your website, I work with some of the code to make sure then that when those products display in the Google search, you have those star rankings show up with them as well. So when you do a Google search and you're looking for products, and you get those shopping lists and you can see the star ratings on them, that's sort of the thing that all feeds in. So that's all part of SEO and making sure then that how we drive sales, because we're not just saying, oh, we've got this pram. Like, that's great. Lots of people sell prams, but this pram's really good. And look, X, Y, and Z people say it's really good.
Yeah. Now, can I just say, I don't buy prams or handbags at the minute, so we need to start thinking of other examples.
Well, go on, give me an example here. Go on. What are you buying? Let's help you out.
Okay, so the last time we went Googling for something was to get the track trainer to put the bike, like a bicycle, in the house, so I could do spin in the house on the bike. Do you know what I mean? It's like a little thing you put on the back wheel.
Yep. So it sort of lifts it up a bit. Yeah,
so it's kind of like, instead of buying one of those, what's that American bike that people buy? And you're meant to like cycle along with lots of other people.
Oh, the Peloton.
The Peloton, yeah. So I didn't buy a Peloton. We bought this track trainer. So we absolutely based our decisions on lots of other people's reviews. But what would be good is that the person who's selling that track trainer, if they had written lots and lots of blog posts about it, so I would have gone straight to their website and bought it off them, maybe instead of the gigantic billionaire online shopping platform that a lot of us use.
that generic online shopping platform that begins with the first letter of the alphabet, that one.
Oh, yeah. So, Ben, do you think, do you still see a place for writing regular blogs?
100%. Absolutely. Again, so it feeds back in, and this is where I try and when I talk about SEO and I try and pitch it from these 2 points of view, because that's exactly your owned content. Without your owned content, without you having to say what you do, your ideas, your opinions, your information, whatever it is that you want to share, that is the basic, fundamental basis in which SEO is built. Without content, there is nothing to rank. So again, like people ask me, I don't show up for these searches. Well, it's because you haven't mentioned that anywhere on your website. Now that can be in the form of a blog post. It could be in the form of your main web pages. It could be in the form of landing pages. Now, whichever way you wish to put yourself out there and be found in Google, you have to be able to you have to have published content, because you can't earn stuff if you've got nothing owned to point them to or to embed it into. So owned is very much the starting point. If you're not creating content, you're not going to generate anything. And we talk, it all links into that freshness again that I mentioned earlier. Is blogging adds fresh content to your website. It keeps your website updated. It means that Google has something to crawl, which means you're more likely to show up, because it shows that your website is staying relevant over time. So that's where it all feeds in together, hopefully.
Yep. So I'm part of a group with the wonderful Martin Hunt Batch and Lindsay Cambridge called Make Your Mark Online. And they ran, it was like a 13-week, create a piece of content a week. Not a challenge, but that's kind of a challenge. But you signed up for it basically for 90 days and you produced a piece of content a week, which meant that I actually did create content every week for 90 days. But after that finished, I have my podcast, obviously, but I stopped writing blog posts. So I think, and I'd like to hear what you think, but I think that a lot of people struggle to consistently write content for their website, or they just don't want to do it and they'd rather, it's one of those things, they're like, I'm not a writer, I don't want to write, I don't have time for this. What do you say to those people? Because I know how valuable it is, but a lot of people would just, the thought of having to do that once a week makes them feel ill. What do you say to those people?
Absolutely get it. If you don't enjoy something, you don't want to do it, and that's just a fact of life. I hate doing my accounts and my books, and you know what? I find someone else to do it for me.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a way of looking at things. If you don't enjoy something, it's not your expertise. You can outsource. Now, obviously completely understand that some people can't afford to or don't want to for whatever reason. That's absolutely fine. But then you have to find a different way of then disciplining yourself to create it.
Do it, yeah.
And it is difficult. And for me, again, if you're struggling to create, even consulting with someone else, so even if you don't want to necessarily outsource the whole creation element of it, what you might want to do is to make sure is you can actually outsource potentially parts of it. So if you've got someone that you say, I've got these ideas, I've come up with these ideas, they're relevant to my business. Can someone create them on our behalf?
Yeah.
Or the other way around, we've sort of done stuff, but we're not sure how it works. Consult with someone. If you're struggling to get ideas, speak with someone who's in SEO, speak with a copywriter, speak with someone who can give you those ideas. If you're struggling for ideas, speak to someone, or speak to a customer, speak to someone who can actually help you research through the keywords. Again, you want to make sure you speak to your customer, and you speak to your customers. But again, I think, if you're struggling, outsource. If you don't want to outsource completely, speak to someone, get that second opinion, get some consultants, say, look, well, have you tried this sort of content? Have you done actually a load of FAQs? Because sometimes blog content, writing long blogs, like 500, 600, 800 word, 1,000 word blogs is not your thing. But what you may find is that FAQs are a really good way of being able to add content to product pages or even blogs. You could do little shorts answering people's questions, and that has great SEO benefits as well.
Well, I like that a lot. The other thing that and I don't do this because when I sit down to write a blog, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy doing it. But the other thing I learned over the last couple of years is you can speak into your phone and with certain apps, and they will transcribe what you're saying. So you could do a transcription of your words and then send it to a virtual assistant who can turn it into a blog post.
Yeah, so I used to do it with, again, like audio podcasts and use tools like Rev.
Yes.
And which will then transcribe them all into written words. for me personally, the way I speak differently to how I type. You could still tell it's me because I use these weird sort of quirky mannerisms. But the way I guess I say something is slightly different to how I'd want it worded. So for me, that doesn't work. But I think for some people, like yourself, I think it's an idea again. And I love giving this idea to people, but just because it doesn't work for me, for some people, it is absolutely brilliant. And I know people again that have published their books almost purely by speaking it. Wow. And then they turn that into a book. Whereas on me, I tried doing a whole chapter of the book that I wrote through that, and I was like, nope, this sounds nothing like what I wanted to. So I think different horses for different courses, but I think, there are tools like that. I think that's a great example, Louise, where people there are different ways in which people can write and create content without having to write.
And I have to now drop in the name of Sarah, who helps me with the show notes for this podcast. So Sarah Busandri is an awesome copywriter. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I'd actually like somebody just to write this for me, get in touch with Sarah. She's excellent, and she will put her own link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Ben, are you telling me you have a book?
Yeah, so I published, when did I publish the book now? So I published the book in 2018 now the book came out, yeah.
So, what's it called?
So this is it's called Marketing Buzzwords to Marketing Authority. And in that I look at, from two different perspectives, how you can build either a personal brand or a business brand around a single word or a phrase or a marketing buzzword to sort of tie everything together. So it all span off my Marketing Buzzword podcast that I used to run. Oh,
that sounds really interesting. Where can we find that book?
Oh, on Amazon, of course. That generic Where
else?
Marketing Buzzwords to Marketing Authority. No, I wish I condensed the title a little bit, but I think it conveys what.
I like it.
What the book does.
Yeah, no, I like it. Sounds good.
And it's got bees on it, and I know you'd appreciate bees as well because obviously it's all about buzzwords. Bees.
I think I need a copy of this book.
We'll speak after, and I will make sure that I will send a copy over to you.
Excellent. All right, Ben, I think this has been a really valuable episode for my listeners, because I think Ben's covered a lot of things that people aren't entirely always aware of to help themselves to be found online. So thank you very much, Ben.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. And again, I'm more than happy to, again, I know there was a lot of there are some technical words in there, some jargon, and this is a problem with SEO. And I try and make things as simple as possible, but sometimes, again, it is a bit of a different world that we get lost in. So I'm more than happy for any of your listeners, if they want to ask any questions, please fire them away, and I'll make sure I help.
Well, Ben, you and I will be going live on LinkedIn to take questions.
Oh, wonderful.
On Friday. Yes, we will. So we'll talk about that afterwards too.
Sounds good.
Come and join us, guys, on Friday, and Ben and I will talk more about SEO and owned and earned marketing, which I think is such a brilliant phrase. Ben, how can people get in touch with you in the meantime?
Oh, of course. So obviously on LinkedIn, so Ben M. Roberts, pretty much anywhere Ben M. Roberts. So if you Google Ben M. Roberts, I'm there.
You should have been.
And the website is bmr-marketing.com. And again, I offer a free audit to everyone, which talks, and I display that in a way that breaks down the owned and earned as well. So it helps people understand for where they currently are at, because I don't want anyone to ever think about, oh God, I need to do this without understanding the context first. So Ben M. Roberts everywhere, and I'll see you on Friday on LinkedIn.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on the podcast.
Hey, no problem at all. Thank you so much for having me.